Gaza Strip has a charm of its own, with its picturesque beaches alongside the bounteous Mediterranean Sea and a welcoming climate that has lured inhabitants since ancient times. However, the distressing visuals of ravaged homes and ascending smoke during the Israeli attacks unveil a harsher reality of about Gaza. Its lengthy history spanning approximately 5,000 years has been largely marred by conflict echoing the ancient prophecies. The human story in the area begins around 3000 BC at Tel Sarkhan, situated south of what is now known as the city of Gaza. Remarkably, the name Gaza has weathered the storms of time, remaining unchanged over several millennia. The city first appears in historical texts as Gazat, in early Egyptian writings, signifying the inception of a long-standing bond with its southeastern neighbor Egypt. In 1468 BC, Pharaoh Thutmose III extended his dominion over Gaza, establishing a reign that lasted for 350 years, during which Gaza flourished as an administrative hub in Canaan. During the Middle Bronze Age, an urban center called Tel El Ajil arose along the Wad Gatsa riverbed. In ancient times, Gaza grew as the Egyptians' administrative capital in Canaan, residence of the pharaonic governor. Gaza was frequently embroiled in Egypt's wars with regional powers. Egyptian and Assyrian records often mentioned Gaza as a strategic caravan point. The Philistines settled in Gaza circa 1200 BC after defeat by Ramses III, now part of the Philistine Pentapolis alliance. Gaza grew into a major military and commerce hub between the Levant and Egypt. According to a biblical story, Goliath was a giant Philistine warrior from the city of Gath, which was located in the vicinity of what is now the modern-day Gaza Strip. Philistines is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible as ancient Canaanite inhabitants before the Israelites. Academics theorize the Philistines may have descended from the Capita who originated from the island of Capta, identified with present-day Crete. Gaza is also mentioned in the Hebrew Bible as the place where Samson, a biblical figure known for his great strength and defeating enemies like the Philistines, was imprisoned and met his death. The prophets Amos and Zephaniah prophesied that Gaza would be deserted, highlighting the city's significance in biblical history. Amos, in the first chapter of his book, was told by God to write about the wickedness of Gaza and the divine judgment that was coming upon it. He prophesied that the fortresses of Philistine Gaza would fall and mentioned 3 transgressions of Gaza, and 4 I will not revoke its punishment. Zephaniah prophesied that Gaza would be abandoned and Ashkelon would become a desolation, among other judgments on the Philistine cities. He mentioned that Gaza would be abandoned and Ashkelon a desolation, Ashdod would be driven out at noon, and Ekron uprooted. According to biblical accounts, Gaza fell under Israelite rule during King David's reign in the 11th century BC, before coming under Assyrian rule, with the kingdoms falling in 730 BC. In the 7th century BC, Gaza returned to Egyptian control, but prospered under Persian rule from the 6th to 4th century BC. In 332 BC, Alexander the Great captured Gaza after a grueling 5-month siege. Despite strong resistance, after resettling Gaza with Bedouins, Alexander Hellenized it. Annexation by Rome in 63 BC, Gaza enjoyed relative peace and prosperity for 6 centuries as a vital trade nexus. In the Acts of the Apostles, the 5th book of the New Testament, Gaza is mentioned as being on the desert route from Jerusalem to Ethiopia. In 66 AD, Jewish rebels burned Gaza during the First Jewish-Roman War, but it remained important, becoming more so after Jerusalem's 70 AD destruction. Throughout the Roman period, Gaza prospered as a port and agricultural center renowned for its soap exports. Ruled by a 500-member Roman Senate, Gaza had a diverse cosmopolitan population. Gaza minted stamped coins adorned with the busts of gods and emperors, including Gordian III, during his visit in 130 AD. Emperor Hadrian, who favored Gaza, personally inaugurated wrestling, boxing, and oratorical competitions in Gaza's new stadium, which soon became known from Alexandria. Gaza transitioned from a predominantly Christian region under Byzantine rule to a flourishing Islamic provincial capital following its 637 AD conquest by the Rashidun Caliphate. Later it witnessed a series of conquests from the Crusade, Saladin, Mamluks, and ultimately the Ottomans in the 16th century. During the Ottoman rule, which started in 1517, Gaza became the capital of the Gaza Sanjak within Damascus Wile. Ottoman Turks brought for centuries of stability and prosperity. Gaza grew into a thriving commercial center on the caravan routes between Asia and Africa. Agricultural production flourished in Gaza's hinterlands as a stopping point on a Hajj pilgrimage. Gaza gained greater religious prominence in the 16th and 17th centuries. In the 19th century, its demographics and industries expanded. Britain occupied Gaza after defeating the Ottomans in 1917. Under the British Mandate, tensions arose between Arab Palestinians and the British over Jewish immigration. In April 1920, anti-Zionist riots erupted in Gaza, designated an open zone for Arab settlement. Gaza City rapidly developed in the 1920s to 1930s. In the late 1930s, Arab revolt clashes erupted between Arab irregulars and British forces in Gaza before Britain crushed the revolt. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan that would have divided Palestine into Jewish and Arab states, with Gaza becoming part of the Arab state. The Israelis accepted the plan, but the Palestinians rejected it. The following year, David Ben-Gurion, the head of the Jewish Agency, declared the establishment of the State of Israel, and the Arab-Israeli War broke out. As a result of the war, Gaza came under Egyptian control. The 1948 Palestinian exodus led to a huge refugee influx, exponentially increasing Gaza's population. With Israel's borders closed, trade and economy drastically declined, causing poverty, unemployment, and instability, culminating in riots in 1955. However, Egypt developed Gaza's education, health care, and infrastructure through the 1950s to 1960s. In the 1967 Six-Day War, Israel captured Gaza. Beginning its occupation, Israel faced armed resistance and instability. The First Intifada erupted in Gaza in 1987, intensifying clashes. Attacks by Palestinian militants and Israeli military raids also escalated. The Oslo Accords established Palestinian Authority control in Gaza in 1994. Israel withdrew settlements in 2005 but retained control over borders and airspace. Hamas, a militant group, emerged victorious in the 2006 elections, which escalated tensions with Fatah, a Palestinian nationalist and social democratic political party, ultimately leading to a civil war in 2007. This internal conflict prompted Israel to impose a blockade on Gaza. Hamas is recognized as a terrorist organization by Israel, the US, and some European countries due to its methods and actions. Since 2007, Gaza has faced a severe economic crisis and recurrent escalations of violence with Israel. The blockade has had a significant impact on the city's economy, with many businesses closing and unemployment rising. The city's infrastructure has also been damaged by Israeli military operations, and there is a shortage of basic services such as electricity and water. The Israel conflict escalated through various military offensives and confrontations over the years. Significant flare-ups between Israel and Hamas occurred in 2008, 2012, 2014, 2021, and 2022, causing the deaths of thousands of Palestinians. In October 2023, violence escalated further after Islamic Jihad and Hamas launched a significant attack on Israel, killing over 1,000 Israeli civilians, including kids, and kidnapping some 200 civilians and soldiers. In response, Israel conducted airstrikes and cut off electricity, water, food, and fuel supplies to Gaza. The attacks resulted in the killings of thousands of civilians, including day-old babies. As of the time this video was being produced, the conflict was still ongoing. Gaza's strategic location has brought prosperity at times, but also vulnerability to regional ambitions and repeated conflict. Thank you for watching our exploration into the rich history and complex present of Gaza. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to stay updated on our latest content, and of course, we'd love to hear your thoughts and insights, so please leave us a comment below.